Hi, and welcome to the Contenders podcast, where we talk everything that is wrestling. I am your host, Jason, and join me as I dissect this week's pay-per-view. We are an unbiased show here, and we'll go into this episode with an open mind. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, we aren't afraid to hit home some honest, thunderous thoughts. If you're new to this, and please like, share, subscribe, and comment in the comment section below. And share with us your opinions of what went down on the show. Stay with us as we have a lot to discuss. YouTube, are you ready? This is a day one review. On the card, we got a fatal 5-way for the WWE Championship. Big E defending his title against Brock Lesnar, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Seth Rollins. We got the Raw Women's Championship match up on the line. Liv Morgan going up against Becky Lynch. Smackdown Tag Team Championship action. New Day versus the Usos. Raw Tag Team Championship action. RKBRO going up against the Street Profits. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. Edge versus The Miz with Maurice. And the kickoff show action. Cesaro and Ricochet up against Sheamus and Holland. The legendary rivalry between the Usos and the New Day continued in the opening match of Saturday's pay-per-view as Kofi Kingston and King Woods battled Jimmy and Jey Uso for the Smackdown Tag Team titles. The champions dominated the action until a counter into a tornado DDT by Kingston and a hot tag to Woods sparked a late comeback by the challengers. Woods delivered a side Russian leg sweep to Jimmy, followed by a modified version of the Future Shock, popularised by Impact Wrestling's Chris Sabin, but could not keep him down. Jey halted Woods' momentum, but Kingston regained it for the babyfaces with a crossbody block for 2. Jimmy answered with a Uso splash for a dramatic 2 count, turning his attention back to the injured knee of Kingston. Jimmy applied the Tequila Sunrise. The former WWE champion fought to the ropes to necessitate the break. The action broke down. The champ sent Wood to the floor and delivered stereo super kicks and then stereo splashes, but the 2021 King of the Ring broke up the fall. Moments later, the twins again deposited Woods to the floor and delivered a 3D to Kingston for the win. Say it with me. Say it with me. There is no such thing as a bad New Day Usos match. For two teams that have worked together for a long time, you can really see how they have progressed over the years. This was solid action, and they both never failed to disappoint when asked to work. Arguably the best in-ring chemistry of any 2 years since the golden age of tag team wrestling in the WWE in the 1980s. This was by far an extraordinary ride of hot tag action. You wanted a match to start off epic? Why not start off with the New Day and the Usos, as they have a history of working incredibly well together. This was by far a fiery back-to-back non-stop epic brawl that any fan would enjoy watching. Here on the Contenders Corner, we're going to match rate this a 4 out of 5. The next match is Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. This match was a decent bout. To be honest, this match showed why Madcap Moss can hang with the likes of former WWE champions. Madcap Moss was given a lot of matches and a lot of chances before this, and on the premium event day one, he didn't look out of place and had a decent run in the match. We all knew all day long Drew was going over in the match after hitting the Claymore for the victory. The promo backstage set up with the rumours that Drew McIntyre is out for an injury. It was rumoured for quite some time that Drew was dealing with some kind of neck injury, and how the events backstage after the match played out set up Drew being out for some time. How long that is yet to surface, but I do hope he'll be back in time before WrestleMania. Drew out with injury, though, means this will be a big blow to the Smackdown show. Could we see Brock Lesnar doing double shows? We will have to find out. I, for this matter, will not rate this match due to the fact that Drew has been injured for quite a while. And on that note, though, the match was decent for what it was. The next match on the Day 1 pay-per-view is RKBRO versus the Street Profits. I really enjoyed Randy's work, and over the years he has done some fantastic works with many legendary wrestlers. Him teaming up with Matt Riddle has grown on me, and many of the WWE Universe, with 3 out of 4 matches being tag team action, was quite extraordinary. It was a solid match with again some excellent segments. This wasn't as fiery and fast paced as the New Day and the Usos match, but to be honest, it was fun and exciting draw to add to Day 1. The Contenders Corner match rating though, we're going to give this a 3 out of 5. The next match on Day 1's pay-per-view was Edge versus The Miz. I thought it was a good nostalgic touch that they added the Brood entrance again to one of Edge's matches, and I hope WWE do this as a special one-time draw when Edge is on the tipping point, whomever he is in feud with. To add to this, Edge has had some epic matches since returning to WWE from his injury that cost him his career. Having making a comeback, no one expected him to be at the same level as he was back then, never mind competing at the same level as some of the wrestlers at the top of their game, including Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. He has given us some jaw-dropping matches which tore any arena's roof off wherever it was held, and to go into this arena at Day 1 and do the same thing, oh yeah, I thought this was an incredible work by Edge, even though The Miz himself looked a tad bit off in places. The match was very fast-paced. At one point it looked like The Miz was going for the victory, but Edge kicked out at 2, but Beth Phoenix returned, and even though I thought it was fantastic that she had returned, I was hoping that they had done this in a different fashion, like Edge having won the match, but Miz attacks him from behind and Beth comes to Edge's aid. I thought creative was a bit stale here, but overall the match was solid. Here on the Contenders Corner podcast though, we'll give this a match rating of 3 out of 5. And the next match on Day 1 was Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's World title. I thought this was a tad sloppy in places, but they went all out. What can you say? One being the top of her game and another growing into the Women's World title picture. Liv Morgan most likely will be seen in a more prominent picture moving forward into 2022, but even though she lost this match, she gave everything to Becky Lynch and delivered a good story. I think WWE should not let Liv Morgan backslide down the title picture as rumours of Bayley and Asuka returning is surfacing. I hope Liv Morgan in future gets to hold the title, and really hope she doesn't backslide down the women's roster. I really would have liked to have seen Becky not win clean here, as in all her matches she hasn't really won in heel fashion. I would have liked if creative had gone down that route and made Becky Lynch cheat her way into defeating Liv Morgan, as it would have added more heat to the feud. But on that note, the Contenders Corner podcast match rating here is a 3.5 out of 5. And then we have the next match, the main event on Day 1, and that is the Fatal 5-Way for the WWE Championship. Big E versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar. And yes, this was originally a Fatal 4-Way, but then Brock Lesnar got added into the match to make it a Fatal 5-Way. The WWE Champion Big E knew he had to defend his title against Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. When he arrived at the arena earlier in the day, he did not expect Brock Lesnar would be added to the fray following Roman Reigns' positive COVID-19 test. The Beast Incarnate unloaded on everyone in his path, introducing Owens and Rollins to Suplex City. Lashley drove Lesnar through the timekeeper's position, though only to be driven through the announce table by Big E. Rollins and Owens delivered a double DDT to Lesnar, driving him into the ring steps as the unified front attempt to keep Lesnar out of the match. Moments later, Rollins attempted the stomp on Big E, only to be caught mid-run by Lesnar, who delivered the F5 and then downed Big E with one. Then Owens, a spear from Lashley, stopped the path of rage. Big E saved Lesnar from the hurt lock, but quickly found himself on the receiving end of the F5. 3 seconds later, there was a new WWE Champion. But there was a tease because Brock Lesnar was thrown into this match to make it a fatal 5-way for the WWE Championship at day one. No. This means business because wasn't this a main event for the ages? My goodness, this was epic. Even though it only lasted 10 minutes, this was insane. Everything thrown into a 10-minute, fiery, action-packed, insane slobber knocker. I know we've seen some very boring, quick Brock Lesnar matches in the past, but all the guys in this match fit perfectly well to make this match tear that roof off. Promos throughout the night fit perfectly well to help build this match up. From the podcast point of view, this was 8 minutes of complete excitement and madness. 5 men each with their own history and beating the hell out of each other. This match didn't muck around. It wanted to give an impression, and it certainly did. Brock Lesnar could have got the pin on anyone into that match, but he pins the champion, and that says something about how they wanted to close off the show. The way the year entered into a premium event to give us a fatal 5-way, this created a buzz from the start of the event when they selected Brock Lesnar into the match to make it a 5-way matchup. It felt like it could have been a WrestleMania match, and it was cleverly done in a way that tore down the arena. Epic match. Each wrestler did impressively well to carry this match all the way to the end, and credit to all of them for making this match exciting until the very end. Extraordinary finish. The Contenders podcast match rating here, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5.